Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are discussing about the characteristics of perception. Let us start. Perception, it is the process of physiological process how we select, organize and interpret sensory information to understand the world. It is characterized by several key aspects. We can call it as the characteristics of perception. Let us know more about them. So the number one characteristics of perception is very selective. So we are constantly bombarded with sensory information, but we can only process a fraction of it. As you can see in figure, there are so many things around, right? There are so many information around. We are constantly bombarded with the sensory information. But the beautiful thing about the process of perception is we can select our sensory information. So, selective perception means we focus our attention on certain things, certain stimuli, while filtering out others, often based on our needs, interests, motivation, and expectations. So, number one characteristics is perception is selective. Next characteristic is perception is organized. So, once look at this figure, what do you see? You might see the moon, right? Or you can see the half moon, you can see the trees, or you can see this whole figure, beautifully drawn figure of the elephant. So perception is organized. The human brain does not perceive stimuli as isolated bits of data. It organizes them into meaningful patterns and wholes. So this characteristics is often explained by Gestalt principle like figure ground, grouping, and closure, which illustrate how we structure sensory input to make quickly sense of our environment. Next is perception is interpretative. That means we can interpret our environment. Once we have selected and organized our stimuli, we can interpret them to assign the meaning. The interpretation is highly subjective because of our pre-existing knowledge and it is influenced by our personal factors. They are like past experience, our learning, our cultural background, our emotion and expectation. If you want to know more about this interpretation, you can also learn through the factors of perception and the video is already there in the channel. So perception is subjective. So same stimulus, this is one of the stimulus and it is perceived differently. It is interpreted differently by different people because the perception is the personal process. So when this person see this picture, it says this is 6 and the next one says it as 9. While both are correct, but if this person comes to this place and see this picture, then he will also say it is 6. And if this person will come to this uh, place and see that picture, he will also say it is 9. So, two people witnessing the same event can have completely different interpretation based on their internal frame of reference. This subjectivity is key to understanding individual differences in the behavior. Next is perception requires sensation. Next characteristics is perception requires sensation. Firstly, we must sense the raw data so that it gets organized in our brain and then we can interpret it again. We can again perceive it. So perception is high level cognitive process. It is psychological process while sensation it is the physiological process. So perception is higher level cognitive process, but it is fundamentally built upon sensation. For perception to occur, there must be first sensory input, information received through our five senses, or proprioception, that is because of the body awareness. So sensation is the raw data and perception is meaningful interpretation of the data. So talking about the characteristics, let us revise what characteristics did we learn till now. So we have already learned some of the characteristics, but we are able to remember only few characteristics now. Why? Because of our sensation, because of our perception, how we have organized those information. It matters a lot. So next is perception is influenced by the context and change. So perception is not static, right? It is heavily influenced by the context or the situation in which the stimuli are presented. So that context can be our family, that context can be the culture, that can be our workplace. So we are so highly attuned to the change in environment. A sudden unexpected change is often perceived more quickly than something that is uniform, consistent, as change is the basis for attention and awareness. Lastly, the perception is relatively stable but flexible. Perception of familiar things tend to be stable over time, providing a consistent and reliable understanding of the world. Example, perceptual constancy. So, how perception is also flexible enough to adapt and change when new information is received or when circumstances dictate a different interpretation, allowing for learning and correction. So there are so many stigma in our brain, but new information has helped us to move forward in this society, to exist in this society. So perception is relatively stable, but also flexible. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to know more about this video, or if you want to learn more about the characteristics of perception, you can go through the reference or visit to different website of psychology. Thank you so much. Also, you can go through this blog. Here also you will find certain topics regarding psychology. If you like the channel, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.